Sure.
Blue Devils of Duke. And we welcome you inside the Greensboro Coliseum. You can feel the electricity and the atmosphere of the ACC Tournament as we get ready for Duke and Georgia Tech. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Hawkwood. It has been a great tournament so far. Yesterday, we had lots of stars. It began in Duke's win over Virginia. Sheldon Williams comes up big, 27 points. Daniel Ewing, a double-double, 26 and 13. Then for Georgia Tech, Jarrett Jack had that game winner. Luke Schencher, 17 points, 17 rebounds. For NC State, Julius Hodge with 19. And the unsung hero, Cameron Finnerman, 17 points for the Greensboro native. For Maryland, John Gilchrist, 4 for 4 from 3. And Travis Garrison comes up huge in the Terps win over Wake Forest. And that sets us up for today. Duke and Georgia Tech, NC State and Maryland to decide who will play for the 2004 ACC Championship tomorrow. I am joined by Bobby Kremitz, who as coach of Georgia Tech led his team to 3 of these Atlantic Coast Conference Tournament championships. And Bobby, it seems that every year in this tournament we have some unexpected stars.
Well, Mike, as great as the stars are, and the stars are fabulous, if you want to win the whole thing, you need some other players to step up. In 1985, I had a player named Scott Petway come out of nowhere and play great. Luke Schencher could do that for the Yellow Jackets. Cameron Benjamin could do it, maybe even a DJ Strawberry. But if you want to win it all, we need some unexpected hero.
And we will sure have some of those today. Right now, Bobby, I want to get your 4 keys to the game in this first semifinal matchup.
Mike, Paul Hewitt loves to push the ball. He wants to avoid Duke's half-court defensive pressure. Get in his running game as quickly as he can. For Duke, they want to establish the big guy inside. Sheldon Williams. They'd like to get Big Luke in foul trouble, but most important, get that ball inside.
All right, remember Duke going for its 6th straight tournament championship, but the last time they played, Georgia Tech won. Steve Martin and Mike Cheminsky have the action coming up. The 2004 Atlantic Coast Conference Basketball Tournament began 2 days ago, and it has been everything that fans expected.
Jumper 3, how sweet it is!
Back to Jarrett with 4. He'll slide through, 17 feet away. Got it! It's good!
Cross-court skip pass to Weaver, picked off by Benjamin in a breakaway. Jansen! Peter Bentley from the right corner with a 3. Yes!
Last-minute heroics have been the story of this tournament. It's been that way all season long. Yesterday, all 4 games went down to the wire, but eventually 4 teams went home, and 4 moved on to today's semifinals. Duke is still on the road to a 6th straight title, but today they go against Georgia Tech, who beat the Devils just last week. The second game matches 2 old rivals, NC State and Maryland. The Wolfpack came back to beat Florida State, while the young Terps didn't fold under the bright lights. It's semifinal Saturday in ACC country, and a place in the championship is on the line. Welcome inside the Greensboro Coliseum as the 51st ACC Basketball Tournament Championship continues. Steve Martin here along with Mike Cheminsky. We're done day 1, the 3rd closest in tournament history. You'll have to go a long way to top that.
Great 12 hours of basketball yesterday. Should be an intriguing 5 hours today, Steve. And Georgia Tech looks like they've rekindled the quick start of the season. They've won their last 4 games, including a game at Cameron. Duke needs to rekindle the energy level that they had earlier in the season.
Well, Duke may seek to take this game inside, and our Polaris ATV shot tracker shows you Sheldon Williams enjoys a lot of success there.
A little room for improvement over yesterday. 8 of 9 in the paint area, but a terrific game against Virginia. Duke looking as recommitted to getting the ball to him on the low post, and that sets up an intriguing matchup with his counterpart, Luke Schencher. A monster double-double yesterday, 17 points, 17 rebounds. This team is starting to get used to playing around him.
And the people who will be responsible for delivering that ball are just as good. Jarrett Jack and, of course, Chris Duhon, 2 of the best point guards still in this tournament.
Well, and Duke making a little bit of an adjustment. They are going to put Chris Chris Duhon on Jack. They understand how important he is to this offense.
Well, let's take a look at our Food Line starting lineups. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets come out first, and we'll see them with their starting lineup with Jared Jack at point guard, B.J. Elder at the off-guard position, and Marvin Lewis. Luke Schenscher off that 17-17 day, and Anthony McHenry is the defensive-minded power forward. For the Duke Blue Devils, they'll go this way. It'll be Daniel Ewing, fresh off a 26-point performance in the quarterfinal win over Virginia. J.J. Redick, a single-digit performance. That's rare. So for Chris Duhon, Luol Deng, and Sheldon Williams completes the starting lineup. Of course, Mike Krzyzewski has guided the Duke Blue Devils to 11 25-win seasons. He's got his team aimed at a sixth straight ACC championship. And there's Paul Hewitt of Georgia Tech. He sees his team in against Duke now for the 7th time in school history, and this afternoon for the first time this season and for the first time in a long time, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets will be wearing their road blue uniforms. All this season, their road uniforms were gold. Those uniforms were worn in Durham on March 3rd during the win. Schenscher and Williams step into the jump circle, and we are about ready to get underway. Semifinal Saturday here in Greensboro. Chris Duhon with the opening tip, and we have got it started.
One of the things to look for early, Steve, how this game is officiated.
Here's Luol Deng, who was 1 of 14 in the first meeting between the two. He immediately goes to the glass and Duke up 2-0.
Already a matchup trying to go in. McHenry did a very good job in Durham on Luol Deng. Chances are he will not have that type of shooting night again, though. As you mentioned, 1 of 14.
McHenry to Jack, who gets by Duhon into a shot. About where he got the game winner yesterday. Schenscher down low on the baseline. Back to Jack again. This right elbow shot goes in and ties the score.
You know, it's going to sound strange, but everybody thought Georgia Tech was really going to miss Chris Bosh. Luke Schenscher has had a heck of a season in replacement of him.
Duhon on the drive, and he puts it in with a foul. That shot by Jack was a three-pointer. This foul underneath is going to belong to Anthony McHenry.
Look at this, Chris Duhon. I think he's committed to be a little more aggressive offensively himself, Steve. Only 6 points yesterday in an un-Duhon-like game against Virginia. I think in general, Duke was very flat in that game, and that was concern for the coaching staff. They wanted to see more energy early.
Duhon on the miss. The rebound taken by McHenry. Of course, a little more motivation here, Mike. They just lost this team, as you said, March 3rd, and they split their last 6 games, which probably put a little bit of doubt in their mind. McHenry down the lane, into the paint, and into the hole.
McHenry not known as a scorer, but freed up that time. You could see the emphasis of Jack, a strong double team coming off that screen roll with Sheldon Williams stepping out.
Duhon at the top. Jack watching Duhon. Now they switch off, and Jack has Deng. Here comes Duhon down the lane. The swing to a wide open Sheldon Williams.
Penetration kills you. Schenscher was drawn to the dribble drive that time. Sheldon Williams were walking the park to the rim.
4th basket, 4th lead change here early on. B.J. Elder with it at the top. Schenscher looked for a back cut, none there. Jack gets by Ewing. Over on the wing, it is McHenry, and we got a whistle and a loose ball foul underneath, and it's going to be charged to Luke Schenscher, I believe.
Here's the look again. See what penetration does to your defense. Completely breaks it down, and you can't afford to let that happen. The weak side has to come down and pick that up. No guard getting in the way of Sheldon Williams.
6'5", Duke out on top. You can handle that if this is a basket lead change situation all afternoon. Oh, in underneath. Luol Deng wide open.
Paul Hewitt needs an adjustment here defensively. There have been some breakdowns for Georgia Tech in the half court. Wide open layups.
I'll take a 30-second timeout to look at it again because somebody wasn't there that should have been. Let's take a look at it.
Well, here's the thing that's happening, Steve. Everybody's so concerned about Ewing and Redick coming off of screens that you can see McHenry that both going to jump out on Redick, and that leaves Deng wide open inside. You got to clean that communication up.
Now, one of the things you had talked with assistant coach Dean Keener and Paul Hewitt about their defensive plans. They really are going to pay an awful lot of attention to Redick, and they're also going to pay an awful lot of attention to Ewing. It means that people who get the ball other than them to turn the corner will get good opportunities today. A look at the top 25 teams in the nation presented by Meineke Car Care Centers, and you see Duke there at number 5 and then a gaggle of ACC opponents Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, North Carolina State.
There'll be a changing at the top. St. Joe's losing in the A-10 tournament. Mississippi State losing there as well. So Duke's going to move up. I really think that hurts St. Joe's chance of getting a #1 seed. Although Mississippi State's losing helps them in a way because they were a potential #1.
Certainly does. It's a muddled field right now. And that's what we like this time of year. Elder's shot is boarded there by Sheldon Williams, and Duke flies into front court. Up here by 3.
You like muddle? I want to write that down.
Muddle.
That's good.
2D.
Muddle's good.
It was a muddled field. And I think Lambo is in there somewhere. Here is the shot by Dang. Double team. Had to get it over Shencher and put Henry up into front court to Jared Jack. Henry with a handle, an awful lot. An unsung hero for them. They were kind of disappointed he didn't get mentioned to the all-defensive team. Here's Jack on the drive. Bumped there by Chris Duhon as he made his move.
The one that I thought was glaring was Ismail Muhammad. I thought he was one of the top defenders in the league. No question about it.
Getting ready to come in is Will Bynum. And he replaces B.J. Elder. Elder turned an ankle in yesterday's win over North Carolina. Bynum, of course, the transfer from Arizona.
I think Paul Jewett wants to get Bynum involved offensively. Did not score in the quarterfinal yesterday.
Inbound stolen right out of Shencher's hands by Daniel Ewing. Here's Reddick's first shot of the game.
He's got that look right now. He's ready to explode. 5 points yesterday, a subpar effort because of foul trouble.
11-5, Duke in the lead here in our first semifinal of the day. Inside, Shencher gets it, and we got a foul going in. And the foul is on Lou Aldang.
The thing I like about Shencher's game, it's very simplistic, very retro. I mean, nothing sexy about it. Catch and shoot. A nice steal inside, good lock, good lob from the top. Never brings the ball down.
Now we have a foul on a dead ball situation here before the ball came in. Or is it a violation? It's going to be a foul. Bynum has it on the wing. The foul's going to be on Ewing. Jack off his leg and out of bounds. Our officials today, Reggie Kofer, Mike Wood, and Carl Hess.
Jarrett Jack is going to find a lot of company when he puts the ball on the floor today against Duke. They're so concerned about what he does. There's going to be a lot of support off the dribble.
There's Duhon in the front court. Jarrett Jack did a great job yesterday trying to defuse Carolina's traps. Dribble back out away from the defense and reset. Here's Reddick. Off balance. No. Offensive foul. J.J. Reddick.
And you did the game, Steve. How many times yesterday did he get an offensive foul called? And this is a big one. It's his second here early again.
And the reason why it's his second, they had called it earlier on Ewing, and they moved the foul over to Reddick. So he now has 2, and he takes, again, an early seat, just like yesterday. And Sean Dockery comes into the ballgame.
Now that puts a little more pressure on Chris Duhon to be that secondary scorer from the outside. Dockery's not going to be able to give you that.
Henry at the top. Bynum now, guarded by Deng. Inside, you got a mismatch with Ismail Muhammad, who's just come into the ball game now. He's posted up on Duhon. Marvin Lewis to Bynum. Bynum penetrates, puts it high off the square and scores. He's already doubled his output from yesterday.
And Will Bynum is an explosive scorer. And when you have a donut in a game, Steve, you really want to get that first basket quickly to find some rhythm.
Back to the top, it's Dang. Still, McHenry is on him to the wing. Dockery. Ewing, author of a 26-point game yesterday. Down low, Williams throws it into the crowd. Timeout on the court. Duke up on Georgia Tech by 4.
Food Lion presents the ACC's most valuable players. Georgia Tech's Matt Harpring combined athletic talent and hustle with a solid work ethic. A 3-time All-ACC player, Harpring was a 2-time academic All-American, a first-team All-American, and still holds the Georgia Tech record for free throws made and the number 2 slot for career points. Matt Harpring, ACC MVP. Food Lion, extra low prices, an official corporate partner of the ACC.
The teams, the fans, and the competition found in the Atlantic Coast Conference are some of the best in the world.
Welcome back to the Greensboro Coliseum. Georgia Tech trailing Duke right now. Joined now by Associate Commissioner of the ACC, Fred Bearcat. Fred, there was an incident in the Coliseum last night. Catch us up to date.
Well, first of all, I want to commend the efforts of a lot of people, Scott. The Greensboro Police Department, the Greensboro Coliseum staff, the emergency medical services, the ushers, the show pro security. It was unbelievable. They responded so quickly, got that situation under control. No game action was altered, and we moved on. I think we've taken, I know, we've taken extra steps to make sure we give the security of this particular facility and the patrons here some safety concerns when they come here, that they don't have to worry about incidents of that nature.
Yeah, definitely nothing to worry about. We'll have some great games today. Look forward to a super championship tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, that's Fred Bearcat. Guys, back over to you.
Of course, the incident, an off-duty policeman's secondary weapon went off as he was cheering here in the Coliseum. We're glad to get that cleared up. So if you are coming here tomorrow, you might experience some security delays. Here is Muhammad, puts it up off the glass for Georgia Tech. It's boarded by Sheldon Williams. And we're back at it. Dockery down in the front court.
On the service, Stephen, you talk about a mismatch, but Chris Duhan, they feel, is strong enough to battle both Elder and Muhammad in the low post, even though he's giving up some weight.
Here's Daniel Ewing drawing double attention out front. He'll get it to the foul line and fire. Finds his shot. 2 points for Daniel Ewing, and Duke stretches their lead to 6.
Fired up after the honorable mention name in the all-league teams.
Censure with a nice scoop to the left hand as his first basket of the day. That's the Duke lead to 4.
Yeah, he's not a guy who's going to manufacture points if you dump it into the low post, but off of penetration, he shapes up nicely.
Look at Duhan go right at it.
Well, and that's what you have to do with Shencher. Go at him and then just pull up and shoot the little floater inside.
Georgia Tech tries to break, and they get it kicked out of bounds. Chadwick Randolph stepping in now for Sheldon Williams. As Paul Hewitt holds the hands aloft. Duke up by 6.
Poor decision on the break that time. You've got Shencher at 7-1 running the floor, trying to throw him a bounce pass. Very difficult to connect.
Duke has hit 7 of their 8 field goal attempts so far. Censure pushes on the way to a steal potentially on Daniel Ewing. So the big man picks up a foul. That's going to be 2.
And that's a mental last thing. If you're, again, a 7-footer, you don't want to pick up a foul 30 feet from the basket on a play that really has no impact on scoring. Shencher running out of control and picking up the foul.
Deotis Tarver is going to come into the ball game. 6'9" sophomore from Monroe, Louisiana. Shencher takes a rest.
2 fouls for him now, so that's a big hit early for Paul Hewitt.
Tarver missed, of course, 16 games with a dislocated kneecap. Of course, did a great job with this team last year. Clarence Moore is into the ball game. He was a spark yesterday for Georgia Tech in their win over North Carolina. Duhan, screen and roll with Randolph. Takes it all the way inside. We got a whistle offensive foul on Chris Duhan. That's 2 on him.
Well, believe it or not, Duke feels that the more closely this game is officiated, it is to their advantage, because they don't want Georgia Tech to become a physical force in this game. But numbers starting to pile up on Duke right now at key positions with Reddick and Duhan.
In exchange, Jarrett Jack followed there by Ewing. Now makes his move. Clarence Moore open in the corner. Moore looking for Muhammad. He'll turn on Duhan. There's the instant double team in the corner. Moore swings to the corner to Jack. Jack into the lane, out on the wing. Bynum for 3. No. Rebound Tarver. Gets it to Muhammad. Takes it inside. Body slide. No foul. Bynum working the baseline. And thrown out off Dockery's hand. It's going to be Georgia Tech ball. Krzyzewski is countering the call, talking with Carl Hess on the end line.
And Mike Krzyzewski actually got a technical foul in the game in Durham. Very upset about the officiating early on. He actually had a change of shirt in that game, if you remember.
Yeah.
Sweated through his shirt and tie, came out with a black shirt afterwards.
And Mike, we've got a technical, it looks like.
Yeah. Carl S. had heard enough.
Mike Krzyzewski picks up a tee.
This is a nice job by Duke right now. The players getting together and saying, hey, we've got to let our coach fight the battle against the referees. J.J. Redick doing most of the talking in that huddle.
Carl Hess trying to get as far away as possible.
One of the great dynamics of the ACC tournament, Steve, it's like a political convention. You've got all these factions in the building, and they all band together, and I don't think Duke has many people on the primary vote right now.
No, they don't.
Georgia Tech, I think, could win by acclamation if you took a vote in the building.
There are people in red, there are people in light blue, and they're all cheering for the people in yellow and black. Jarrett Jack makes 1 out of 2. B.J. Elder now out on the wing. Skip pass to Moore. To the top. Duke with that smothering man-to-man defense, not offering Georgia Tech a clean look at anything. Muhammad on the switch picks up Randolph. Across the lane it goes. Carver with 7 on the shot clock. Williams with a block. And we got a foul. And it's going to be charged, I believe, to Leonis Carver. Carver picks up the foul, and now the Duke faithful to start to lobby with their vote.
Well, Duhan went running over in front of the section, raising his arms, getting them involved vocally. But, you know, you look at who's out on the floor right now for Georgia Tech. Tarver is the one guy they can play off of defensively, and that allows Sheldon Williams to roam.
Dockery gets by Muhammad, takes it down the lane, and the runner is good. Duke by 7. Biggest lead of the game.
Different deal out with Luke Schenscher not in the ball game. You take that 7-1 frame out of the paint, it opens a lot of things up for drives.
Jack out top between circles. Elder with a big shot as well. And the rebound to Sheldon Williams. Duke now taking charge of this game. That's his 5th ball. Dockery into front court. The kick back to Ewing. In the lane, the drive, it doesn't work. Randolph pulls it down. Ball loose. Who's got it? Dockery recovers to Deng. Muhammad, good recovery to close out on Ewing. Ewing down the lane. Ewing pushed there by Ismail Muhammad. That's his first. Team's 4th. Duke has 16 fouls.
Ewing that time, masterful job, kept his dribble alive, and almost like he was baiting Muhammad into that foul, just kept banging until he got the call in the paint.
Paul Deng getting ready to inbound it. To Ewing, fresh from a screen set by Williams, who gets the ball. Williams trying to cross over in the lane. Ooh, could be steps. Randolph can't control the rebound. Jarrett Jack has it.
That's what he wants to do on that side of the floor. He wants to turn to his left shoulder.
Muhammad looks for Tarver to float down the lane. He'll miss it. Didn't expect the ball to come to him so quickly, and Williams will come away with a rebound.
Again, Duke will live with Theodis Tarver taking jump shots in the lane as the other 4 players that they're concerned with out on the floor offensively.
Schenscher would have taken 1 step and been behind the backboard. Here's Dockery out front. Deng from the wing for 3. Williams with the recycle. To Deng, waited. 6 points, Luol Deng, all in the same fashion. Duke with a 9-point edge.
See, it was bad enough Duke shooting 9 of 13 from the floor, but when you get second chance opportunities, that really magnifies that.
B.J. Elder triple teamed in the post. Muhammad, not known for his 3-point shot, drives and scores. He had 12 in the win over the Blue Devils a couple of weeks ago.
Not known for his shot, but what he just did, he is exceptional at. Explosive off the dribble and can get to the rim at any time.
He had a highlight dunk yesterday. Here is Dockery. His shot doesn't go. The rebound comes away to Elder. Georgia Tech running out with numbers. Ahead is Moore. Up and under. No. And a foul coming up on Daniel Ewing. And Ewing now has picked up his first.
Bobby Cremins talks at the top about the transition game for Georgia Tech. That's one of the few opportunities that they've had because Duke has been so good and efficient in the half court.
Welcome back to Greensboro. Steve Martin here along with Mike Jumensky, Bobby Cremins, Mike Hogwood, Scott Przwanski here at the Greensboro Coliseum. Super semifinal Saturday. And we have 2 super matchups here this afternoon.
This man at the free throw line along with along with Marvin Lewis, the last recruits from Bobby Cremins, his last fingerprint on this program. Really loves both of these kids. And this guy right here, the heart and soul of this club. And people don't know how much his return to this ball club this year meant to the season that they're having.
And of course, he had to fight off a toe injury as well. Missed the second shot. The rebound comes down to Williams. Near the midway point of this first half. Ball bang out deep. Duke leading here by 7, 19-12. Randolph tries to get by Moore. Dockery picks up the loose ball. Don't see much zone out of either of these teams this afternoon.
Sheldon Williams really pumping the ball. 6 on the shot clock.
Here's Ewing with it out front. 3 on the shot clock. Ewing will have to pop it himself. And it was right out. Randolph forced it. Misses but got fouled. Oh, what a play by Ewing. It rolled around, touched every twine, and bounced back out.
You know, and that seems like an innocent enough play, Steve, but how valuable is it at the end of the shot clock to just get something up there on the rim and softly enough so that it gives you opportunities to offensive rebound if it misses? Shavlik Randolph, and he's had trouble. This has been a tough year for him. He's gotten his health issues behind him. He's put on 30 pounds. He's very young for his class. I think he's going to have a terrific next 2 years, but this has been a transition year for him.
Randolph has had 6 blocks in this series with Georgia Tech, 4 in the win at Atlanta. His first basket of the day. The foul is charged to Marvin Lewis. Second shot by Randolph is good, and Duke extends their lead to 9, 21-12. Inside the work is done to Luol Deng from Sheldon Williams. The Duke Blue Devils showing the emotion of a team striving for their 6th ACC championship. After this game, the number 2 seed NC State and number 6 Maryland. It's the lure of the championship game. The Wolfpack had to claw their way back to beat Florida State yesterday behind Cam Bennerman, who had 17 on the night, and then waiting for the pack, old friend Maryland. The Terps 6 players in double figures. These are the 2 central characters in last night's win. John Gilchrist with 16 points, 6 assists, and what about Cameron Bennerman? And there's Matt Kahoric on the right, Jim Patsos on the left. Maryland assistant coaches scouting this opponent.
Cameron Bennerman, 2 career highs in a row, Steve, finishing at Wake Forest with 16 points and then stepping up yesterday, really filling in. And the thing that surprised me, his 3-point shooting capability. You know, that's not something that he's hung his hat on early in his career, but little homecoming, and there you see the rebounds. And this again, this points to the absence of Luke Schenscher. Williams out rebounding Georgia Tech by himself, 8-6. Schenscher saddled with the 2 fouls here early on the bench.
In the regular season series between the 2, Duke had a slight rebounding edge, 41-39-5. Jack into the lane, it goes to Elder, and Elder finds a way to get his first basket of the afternoon.
They need to get him ignited, Steve. 4 of 14 yesterday, a subpar shooting night, and had missed his first 2 offerings in this game. They can't afford for their leading scorer to go with that kind of drought.
Hadn't scored in the first 10 minutes of that game yesterday, and the same is true today. Randolph down low, Dockery out on the wing. He'll take the 3. No, too long. Rebound Deng, shot blocked and spanked out of bounds by Robert Brooks, I believe.
Well,
Robert Brooks.
That's not a good shot for Sean Dockery. Got 3 of 22 coming in from the 3. Deng working the weak side glass, and Brooks primarily a defensive specialist with this ball club.
J.J. Redick steps back in. His first offer right off the glass. Randolph vying for the rebound. We got a jump ball. Possession arrow is going to go to Georgia Tech.
Let's see, Steve, if Redick is a little less aggressive as far as penetrating with the basketball and picking up that 3rd foul. Let's see if Duke can get him some screens and get him some open looks. Conversely, you know, if I'm Georgia Tech, I want to try to attack him on this end of the floor, whoever's guarding him.
Good reason for him to worry, Mike, is one of his fouls is offensive and the other is off the ball.
Yep.
There's other action around the country. SEC semifinal action. 8th-ranked Kentucky taking on South Carolina. Conference USA Championship won by Cincinnati over DePaul.
I'm happy for Jay Voter. Got South Carolina back in the NCAA tournament.
Elder with a shot inside, made 2 straight. And Odom was named Coach of the Year in the SEC. 21-16, Duke's lead trimmed to 5. Ewing to midcourt, breaking the press. Reddick, quick three. Rebound comes away to Sheldon Williams. That's number 9. We got a whistle and a foul away from the play, and it's on B.J. Elder. Elder with the foul, and this is going to be a 1-and-1 now because this is the 17th foul on Georgia Tech.
Or a 2 if you're J.J. Reddick shooting it. That's about what it turns into. And you can see the arm bar right there, and that's what Georgia Tech, that's how they like to guard perimeter players. Very physical. They'll jam you. You see that, the NC State team in general, but J.J. Reddick specifically, really induces a lot of grabbing fouls because he moves so well without the basketball that guys just get frustrated. And there you see the national picture as far as free throw percentage.
At one point, J.J. Reddick had 54 consecutive free throws.
Yeah. How would you like to be 96.9% and be in second place?
I know.
That's pretty astounding.
That is astounding.
Like I shot a 61 today, hon, out on the course. I was 3rd best.
Reddick says, oh! Well, there's the missing 3% right there.
Well, and when you're that high, that has a dramatic impact on your percentage, too.
He's in danger of cruising toward 90. Jack to the top. McHenry feeds inside. Too tall for Elder. And Mike Wood is going to say Duke touched it on its way out. It's going to be Georgia Tech ball. Jared Jack gets a rest. Will Bynum replaces him in the Georgia Tech lineup. Duke has cool, I guess. Bob Reichley, our producer, said Duke a little cool. I think cold is probably the most appropriate. 1 out of 10 is approaching frigid.
Frigid, yeah, exactly.
8 out of 9 to start. 1 out of 10. There's frost on that pumpkin.
Well, and if you remember early, Duke got a lot of layups inside off of missed assignments. I think Georgia Tech has shorn up their half-court defense.
Bynum inside. Lewis, shot blocked by Ewing. Taken there by B.J. Elder. With a rewind. Bynum at the top. Lewis can't shoot for 3. No. Shencher back in the game. Boards it. Elder from the corner for 3. No. Shencher again. Who's he picked this time? Who wants it? Bynum at the top.
17 rebounds yesterday, and he's just playing over the top. He had 6 offensive rebounds in that game. He's had 2 in this possession.
Bynum on the drive. Turns, looks for an opening. Now finds Shencher. Nice bounce pass. Shencher for the score.
Well, you know what? I love the reward. Big fella worked hard on that possession, and why not let him make 2 points?
Duhan into front court. Duke's lead now trimmed to 4. Its biggest lead was 9. Duhan on the wing. Here's Reddick. Reddick's pass intercepted. McHenry feeds ahead. It's Elder. And Elder is fouled as he went for it by Daniel Ewing. Ewing picking up his second. 8th team foul, and B.J. Elder going to the free throw line.
Talk a lot about not only why turnovers occur, but where they occur. And when they happen in the middle of the floor, up the floor a little bit, it's virtually impossible for the defense to get back. And B.J. Elder did a nice job of trying to convert that into points.
Elder to the free throw line. Here you see his season versus Duke, but he leads Georgia Tech in scoring at 16 points. Closed captioning for ACC basketball provided by RBC Centura, the official bank of the ACC.
So far, Georgia Tech leaving some points on the floor at the free throw line. Only 1 of 5 in this game.
They're not the greatest free throw shooting team in the world, and 69%. Second shot there by Elder gives him 5 points, and Georgia Tech now trims the Duke lead to 3. Now, the All-ACC freshman team was announced earlier this week. Top 2 received 93 votes each. That's Luol Deng, led all freshmen in scoring and rebounding. Wake's Chris Paul led rookies in minutes played. He was second in points scored. North Carolina State's Engin Atsur averaged 12 points a game on the road in the ACC. How about Alexander Johnson from Florida State? He was third in scoring and rebounding among ACC rookies. And Virginia's J.R. Reynolds represents the ACC team with the most freshman starts. You see him making a basket there. Of course, his play at the end of the Clemson game and the play-in game, of course, carried Virginia to an overtime win. Luol Deng, Rookie of the Year. Is it Luol Deng? Is it Chris Paul?
Yes.
To both?
I think so. I think it's going to be virtually impossible to separate the two, Steve. I mean, they've both been Rookie of the Year or Rookie of the Week 5 times. Both have had sensational seasons. I just don't know how you put one ahead of the other.
Maybe the voters won't either. Duhan into front court. Luol Deng out at the top. Nick Horvath in the ball game for the first time for Duke. Reddick on the wing looking for Williams inside. Tarver's in now for Shencher. And Paul Hewitt chooses to spot Shencher with 2 fouls here through the later stages of the first half. The foul here is on Tarver, and that's going to be his second.
There's the look inside, and Duke could not deliver the ball on that early rush, but Sheldon Williams is so good at making up space and getting his feet in the paint. You know, if you're going to play behind him strictly, Steve, you're going to have a long evening. Shencher can do it at 7-1, but I think Tarver has to change his position a little bit. Front some, 3/4 some, then get behind.
Georgia Tech currently on a 7-1 spurt. 5 of those 7 from B.J. Elder. 6:46 left to play here in this first half. McHenry. And now Bynum to the corner. Marvin Lewis has been quiet. Not anymore. Lewis for 3. And ties the ball game up at 22.
And Reddick made a mistake. He tried to go over the top of that screen. The screen adjusted up. He got buried, and Lewis got a good look.
Okay, we've gone from cold to frigid now for Duke. No field goals in the last 5 and change. We got a foul before the block shot. It's going to be charged to Will Bynum. Luke Shencher watching on. And this is profit time for Georgia Tech to get into a tie with Shencher on the bench. But, of course, he came in just a moment ago and helped them in that 7-1 run.
Well, if you remember early in this game, we talked defensively. I think Duke was doing a good job of penetrating off the dribble. Georgia Tech has cleaned that up, and it's helped their defense.
ACC basketball is brought to you in part by your local Toyota dealers. From Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Sports, Steve Martin here, along with Mike Jumensky, Bobby Clemens, Mike Hogwarts, Scott Brzezwanski at the Greensboro Coliseum. Williams with a pair from the free throw line has 4 for the afternoon, and Duke's lead is up to 2.
Duke zone now for Duke.
Yep. Rarely do we see it. Lewis to the wing. Bynum now takes it inside against the zone and draws a foul. And it's going to be on Ewing, and that is number 3. It is the 9th team foul on Duke.
Bynum, a very explosive penetrator. And Steve, you know, you go into a zone to protect yourself against fouls, and you think that situation would help you, and it actually hurts you. Where Ewing picks up his 3rd on a reach.
Takes a valuable weapon and maybe makes it a little more conservative here. Mike Krzyzewski doesn't have an awful lot of offensive opposition. He's got J.J. Reddick on the bench with 2. Bynum with the free throw. B.J. Elder, Clarence Moore check in. Ishmael Muhammad and Tony McHenry go out. And not a good sight for Mike Krzyzewski to see J.J. Reddick and Daniel Ewing on the bench at the same time for the same reason. Bynum misses. Williams picks up another rebound, and that's going to be 10.
Now let's see if Luol Deng steps up as far as being a scorer for Duke. One of the few scoring options. Horvath not a real offensive threat, nor is Dockery.
Now Duke would use anybody. They have not scored a field goal in close to 6 minutes, and we have a whistle and a foul. All of their points have come off the foul line in small increments. And it's on Tarver, and that's his 3rd.
And with those 2 guys out on the floor, now they can really concentrate on Sheldon Williams. Anytime that he has caught the ball in the low post, there have been a lot of blue jerseys around him.
Tarver now has 3. Shencher on the bench with 2, and Shencher's going to stir and come into the game. There's the mark there, and Williams will be ready to go to the line. Williams with 3 straight free throws. He has 5. Shencher back on the floor. Tarver out. Paul Hewitt's strength is the depth of his team. 10 deep on that bench with regular minutes.
Well, and you take the tack, you look at Williams. Do you want to give him a dunk or a layup and just let him shoot 8 of 9 like he did yesterday? Or take your chances with a 66% shooting guy at the free throw line? I think you're going to see Williams at the line a lot in this game.
Duke by 3. Georgia Tech bench on 9 occasions this year. A reserve player has led them in scoring. A travel violation on Bynum as he was looking for Lewis, and he had a choice. Marvin Lewis, B.J. Elder, and then just turned it over.
Obviously didn't like either one of those. I think Will Bynum's first option a lot of times is himself, and he was a little upset about not being able to make that play. The 4th turnover, both teams with 4 turns here early in the first half. Pretty well-played game as far as ball handling is concerned.
Variety is a misplaced weapon. Looking inside, and he's picked by Robert Brooks, who just came in. Down in the front court, Jack, pull-up jumper, no. The rebound underneath, Robert Brooks. Kick out to Elder, he'll get a clean look. The 3-ball is good.
And how many times do we see after an offensive rebound, the 3-shot is wide open, your defense is scrambled, you can't get a hand up on the shooter, and Robert Brooks doing the little things out on the floor here for Georgia Tech.
Yet another tie at 26. Under 5 to play in the first half. Luol Deng looks now for Dockery on the wing. Back to the top, it's Horvath. Williams in the post. Dockery mishandles. We've got a whistle and a foul coming up on Horvath. Or no, it's going to be on Dockery.
Here's the look, and where second chance opportunities hurt you. Brooks playing with a lot of energy, and you see B.J. Elder just floating around at the top of the 3-point circle. No defender around him, but we had that picture of Ewing and Reddick sitting over on the bench. What that allows Georgia Tech to do, they can really compact their defense now. Those 2 guys really spread you out on the floor. It's been tough sledding for Duke in the half court since they've departed.
Elder now with 9 after a slow start. He has matched his average in the series between Georgia Tech and Duke. And yesterday he got a slow start as well, but responded with 16 points in the win over North Carolina. He puts Georgia Tech on top. Believe it or not, this is their biggest lead. 2. 28-26. 5 unanswered for the Yellow Jackets. Here's Duhan. To the wing, Deng, deep 3. Got it.
He's the guy who's got to step up, Steve. He's a good 3-point shooter. He's a very diverse offensive player.
6 lead changes in this first half. Just seen one there. Duke by 1. Jack looking for the post. They decided against putting Schencher in and decided on Robert Brooks. Terrence Moore takes the shot from the elbow for 3. Rebound, Duhan.
I think as long as they're hanging around and this game is even, that Paul Hewitt can live with that. He sees the bigger picture and feels that Schencher, more important in the second 20 minutes with only 2 fouls.
Here's Duhan. Throw back to Shavlik Randolph, who just came in. Shot fake, drive, miss. Williams, rebound 11. Goes for the stick back underneath. No, can't get it to go. Look at the action underneath. It's going to be Georgia Tech ball. Timeout on the court with 3:40 left to go. Chris Duhan has to find the scores. This time he found freshman Luol Deng. Nothing but twine, and Duke's up by 1.
Food Lion presents the ACC's most valuable players. One of the best in Clemson history, Horace Grant led the Tigers to 2 NITs and an NCAA tournament appearance. The 1987 ACC leader in scoring, field goal percentage, and rebounds. Grant capped his career with a Clemson first, the coveted ACC Player of the Year award. Horace Grant, ACC MVP. Food Lion, extra low prices, an official corporate partner of the ACC.
Duke ahead by 1, but B.J. Elder starting to come alive. He missed his first 2 shots in the game, but hitting that jump shot, getting some rhythm. We talk about the strength of Elder. He can get inside and operate in the lane, and then this knockdown 3 after an offensive rebound. He is the game's only double-figure scorer with 10 points.
And there's the matchup between B.J. Elder and J.J. Reddick. Reddick again for the second straight day in this tournament, Mike, saddled with foul trouble, and that's limited his playing time.
It has really hurt Duke, not just his scoring, but his lack of presence on the floor has allowed Georgia Tech to play different defensively.
Don't have to be as aware of him. Georgia Tech was not going to double off he or Daniel Ewing at all today. Mark that scoring average of 16-2, which leads the Duke Blue Devils on the bench so far for much of this first half. Jared Jack back into the ball game. He's been kind of quiet here. The point guards have been so. Duhan and Jack both with 4 points. Elder to the wing. Here's Jack.
Ismail Muhammad on the baseline for a thundering dunk.
You cannot fall asleep on the weak side against Muhammad. Boy, Georgia Tech just lulled Duke to sleep on that possession.
Dockery in the exchange with Duhan. Georgia Tech by 1. Inside it goes. Randolph fighting for position. Shot, fake, shot, and foul. Oh, we got to see this play again.
One of the most explosive dunkers. This is a great play. Everybody's zeroed in on the basketball. On the back line, you've got to have your head on a swivel. Find out where that cutter is coming from. You could actually hear the call from the Duke bench. They saw it coming, but unfortunately the weak side defenders did not.
Muhammad really can light up a place. Preseason NIT MVP. 22. Win over Connecticut. There's Shavlik Randolph. All foul shots this afternoon for him.
42-inch vertical jump with a few steps for Muhammad.
Muhammad on the wing. Score tied at 30 all. B.J. Elder out front. Here's Jack looking for more. Finds Brooks in the open spot. Got a whistle. Now we got a foul on Shavlik Randolph. Randolph picking up his first. Team's over the double bonus with it. Clarence Moore will go to the free throw line. Mike Krzyzewski's already picked up a technical this afternoon. Had his say. Clarence Moore to the free throw line. What energy he brought to this team yesterday night to win over North Carolina.
That's his MO, and you know, a very credible three-point shooter. I mean, he's not a liability offensively, but just his presence out on the floor, his physical presence, this team really feeds off it.
Winner of this game will go on to face the winner of the next game, which should be a good one between Maryland and NC State. Should be quite a battle.
Another situation where both teams won on the other team's home court. And I think it's going to be very important for NC State to get out and get a lead in that game. They're much better when they're front runners.
Georgia Tech up here by 2 on a pair of Clarence Moore free throws. Yellow Jackets with some nuisance pressure. Under 2.5 to play here in the first half. Hotwood, Bobby Cremins coming away at halftime. Here comes Duhan down the lane. The kick out to Dang for 3 more. No, rebound Williams, number 12. We got a whistle and a foul in underneath. I think it's going to be on McHenry. Pretty heavy action between McHenry and Williams inside.
This is the first time they've been able to get some penetration, which opens things up. Deng knocked that shot down earlier, but it helps Sheldon Williams. I mean, he's had so much company inside, and he's very upset with missing that easy offensive rebound opportunity there, but at least he didn't have to battle 3 defenders.
Williams now 4 for 6 from the line in this first half, has 12 rebounds. Here comes Luke Schencher. Paul Hewitt has spotted him since he picked up his second foul. He got a couple minutes here. He's going to try to probably stay with him for the next couple of minutes, or he might be doing offense for defense here in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised he's coming back in, but you know, he should be able to play well. He just has to worry about maybe an aggressive offensive rebounding opportunity, picking up that 3rd foul.
Like somebody to throw to inside, I think, right now. Here comes B.J. Elder.
Especially working against that zone.
Into the lane. Jared Jack penetrates. Not many openings there. B.J. Elder with a 3. Dockery was all over him, and Elder has 13.
And that was a great find by Jarrett Jack. He was dead in the water in the paint and somehow spotted Elder all the way out top.
No Schencher, no nobody. 3-pointers out front. B.J. Elder has 2 of the 4. Duhan to approach the 92nd mark. To the corner, Deng. There's a screen set by Williams, showing hard as Schencher. Duhan for 3. Yes! Chris Duhan now with 7. Duke within a point. Jack into front court. Huge screen by Schencher. The shot, no good. Schencher inside, and a foul coming up. Randolph picks up the foul, his 2nd.
Here's the look in the prior possession. You can see Jared Jack buried inside. And this is just great court awareness. He knows where the senior is going to be spotting up, or the junior, I should say. And Elder got that candle lit after a couple of early miscues.
Oh, did he? 13 points for B.J. Elder. Shencher on the free throw line. Shencher's 4th offensive rebound of the day. Horvath checks in. Now Randolph checks out. Shavlik has 2. Ishmael Muhammad comes out of the lineup. Marvin Lewis comes back in. And Lewis has been kind of quiet. 1-3 in this ball game, and that's it. Shencher makes up for the miss. His 5th point of the day. Got a whistle, and what happened there? We had an official stoppage of play to get Clarence Moore into the game and McHenry out. And Shencher is going to take a seat here as well. Robert Brooks comes in. So good spot up there for Paul Hewitt.
Whenever Paul Hewitt wants to lead, he puts Shencher into the game.
He was doing offense for defense. He was treating the final 2 minutes of the half like the final 2 minutes of the game. All right, Georgia Tech's in his zone. Second 1-3-1. Dang at the top, 4 back. Between circles, Dockery on the wing. Duhan covered up by Marvin Lewis. 8 on the shot clock. Duhan to Dockery. If that were Ewing, the shot would be up by now. Here's Dockery with 2 on the shot clock. No. Rebound, Marvin Lewis. Jared Jack in the front court got bumped by Sheldon Williams. Here's Lewis for 3. No. Sheldon Williams had the rebound. It's knocked out of bounds by Robert Brooks. It'll be Duke ball. What a close to this wild first half. We have a 30-second timeout, and we'll return after this message from the ACC. The ACC.com is your first stop for ACC info, including live stat updates from all conference games, including the one you're seeing now, video features, and links to all 9 schools. The ACC.com, it's your front row seat for ACC sports on the web.
A quick 30-second timeout. Duke a chance at the last shot, and an interesting move. Mike Krzyzewski getting J.J. Redick back in the game. Maybe he nails a shot here late that gives him some momentum going into the second half.
Yeah, a lot of drama being played out between these two coaches. Duhan into front court now. Shot clock gone. 22 seconds left to play in the frame. Back it goes now to Dang. Clarence Moore on him. Way up high. Duhan now. 8 seconds left. 7 seconds. Goes to Dang. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. Dang with the ball. He'll shoot it. And it goes off the back of the iron. Interesting possession. Georgia Tech's defense holds, and they have themselves a 2-point lead here headed into the locker room at halftime. As the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets lead the Duke Blue Devils 36-34. Coming up, halftime activities with Mike Hogwood and Bobby Kremers.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by Progress Energy. ACC basketball is being brought to you by RBC Centura. By Citco. By Ford. By Aquafina. And by Chick-fil-A.
Welcome back to Greensboro. Inside the Greensboro Coliseum, not many seats available. Matter of fact, not any seats available. And they've been treated to a great first half of action. Mike Jumensky, as you look at this first half, Georgia Tech absorbed the early Duke hit, and now they're in good shape.
Which you have to do. I mean, Duke tried to come out with a lot of energy, shot the ball extremely well. Georgia Tech really got things together in the half-court defense and played much better in the last 10 minutes.
Things went a lot better, as you'll see from our Polaris ATV shot tracker, when B.J. Elder was able to find his offense.
Right, he's such a big part of what they do, and you see 4 of 7 from the field, a couple of three-point shots, and we'll say he missed his first 2, so really shooting well in the last 10 minutes of the game.
And one of the keys to this game is who's going to be in it at the end. Luke Shencher in foul trouble early, still has 2, but Paul Hewitt massaged his minutes. For Mike Krzyzewski, the problem could get bigger. Daniel Ewing, his leading scorer against Virginia yesterday with 3. Duhan and Reddick with 2, and Reddick's had a good deal of that first half.
That's the key number for Duke. Only 7 minutes for J.J. Reddick.
Immediately they go to Luol Deng, who takes it right to the rack and scores. He's got 11 in this ball game.
Almost the same play that they started the game with, funneling the ball right to Deng inside on McHenry.
B.J. Elder out front, Jarrett Jack, Luke Schencher, Anthony McHenry, and Marvin Lewis. Starting lineup for Georgia Tech. Elder's first shot goes out of bounds. It's last touched by Schencher, who hit the deck.
This is Duke likes to script plays coming out of the locker room, and when you seal and get an angle like that, Deng did a nice job keeping McHenry from getting any sort of position.
Duhan, Williams, Ewing, Deng, and Reddick. Mike Krzyzewski here in the second half. Down the lane, Duhan loses the handle, but Ewing picks it up for 3. Rebound tapped inside and over the back foul on Luol Deng. His first team score. Duke gunning for an unprecedented 6th straight ACC championship.
And sometimes, Steve, those numbers become mind-numbing almost by Duke with what they put out there, but consider that nobody had ever won more than 3. It shows how dominant they've been over this last stretch of years.
That's no small task in this conference, which is as good as they come in college basketball. B.J. Elder's shot doesn't go. Sheldon Williams continues to cruise with 14 rebounds.
Incredible number, but the thing, Steve, he's gotten some offensive rebounds but hasn't been able to score.
Nice look until then. Sheldon Williams gets his 9th point on a beautiful feed from Chris Duhan.
Been able to run that high screen roll with Sheldon Williams. Tough for the defense to react.
See how close this game has been. 4 ties, 9 lead changes. Here comes McHenry out front of the elbow for 3. Rebound tip to J.J. Reddick. Duke up in this one by 2. The higher seed over the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Duhan inside Williams, and he's fouled by Schencher, who picks up his 3rd. But, Mike, it looks like a conscious effort for the Blue Devils to get Sheldon Williams involved in the offense.
And I like the way they're doing it, Steve. He's not planted down on the low box where Georgia Tech can swarm over him. They've got him high. They're running screen rolls where he can get some freedom to move in the lane.
Sheldon Williams about to get a double-double here.
It's an impressive night already, and still 18 minutes to go.
This is all of the equipment. And Williams now has his 9th double-double of the season. Ishmael Muhammad has brought this crowd to its collective feet with a alley-oop baseline patented dunk, replaces B.J. Elder.
You know, he's one of those players that people start to rise out of their seats when he gets the ball or when you anticipate him doing something.
Deng fights for the rebound. Duhan has it. On the wing, Daniel Ewing. Ewing, the side of the glass. Ishmael Muhammad with it. Looks on the wing for Jack. He'll take the 3-pointer off the wing. Rebound tipped up. Schencher and Ishmael Muhammad battle each other for the ball. Jack has gone about 2 minutes and 13 seconds without scoring to start the second half. Here's Duhan. Wraparound kick out to Ewing. Duhan in the lane. The runner sticks right there in time for Sheldon Williams to convert. He's got 12.
Schencher lost sight of him that time. He was able to slip behind on penetration and get point-blank offensive rebounding position.
7 unanswered points for the Blue Devils. Inside, Jarrett Jack rips the cover off the hoop for Georgia Tech. It's 41-38.
Jarrett Jack, one of the stronger point guards in the league, able to work very nicely in the paint.
Down low, Deng posted up on McHenry. Turns and launches it off the side. Duke making a conscious effort, though, to take everything inside here. They want to get Schencher off the floor. Jack turns the corner, takes it inside, offensive foul. Jarrett Jack, J.J. Reddick took the foul. Jack down on the court where he hit his head.
He is taking inventory right now, he's not even attempting to move. It's a smart play. Whenever you land like that, you want to make sure everything's in the right place before you try to get up.
Trainer Tim Hansen is out there. He seems to be in a lot of pain here now. Wait till tomorrow morning. May not have to, it looks like. Tim Hansen was busy yesterday tending to the ankle of B.J. Elder. Now Jack back here. Let's see it happen.
This is a scary place, Steve. Be up in the air, take the charge, and have your legs go out from underneath you. Your feet are not meant to be above your head in that type of situation, and there's really nothing you can do.
And his head reverberated off the court as he landed on J.J. Redick. And he goes off under his own power.
And certainly not a dirty play at all by Redick, just getting in position, and Jack, just such a high flyer, got upended on the play.
Will Bynum will replace him in the lineup.
Greensboro, right? That's where we are, Greensboro? All right, I'm good to go. Just as long as you didn't say the Thriller Dome, then we got trouble.
Yeah, we got a problem. We couldn't beat these guys down there. Might be able to take them here.
If we're in the state of North Carolina, I think we're good to go.
Blocking foul is going to be charged to Marvin Lewis. That's his second, team's third. B.J. Elder now checking in, and Marvin Lewis goes out. A struggle for Lewis so far this afternoon. 1 for 4. Redick trying to get by Muhammad. Now muscles his way in and banks it.
That's tough to out-muscle Ismail Muhammad.
Bynum down into front court. Duke now opening up a 5-point lead. Elder in the paint, in trouble. Here comes Muhammad, and he is fouled as he went down. See J.J. Redick's basket again.
And this is an underestimated part of his game. People think of him as a jump shooter, but he can put it on the deck, and if he gets his head and shoulders behind you, strong enough to finish.
Ismail Muhammad, 2.
Ismail Muhammad going to the free throw line on a foul by Shavit Randolph, which is going to be his third. Muhammad misses. He's a 46% free throw shooter.
Which is why at the end of the game, I would imagine Duke, you want to take your chances with him at the line. Such a great finisher. Don't give him those easy opportunities. Make him prove himself at the free throw line.
About 4 minutes gone. Duke 43, Georgia Tech 39. Steve Martin, Mike Jemensky here at courtside. ACC Tournament semifinal round. 51st renewal. It's been everything we've asked for. Redick in the lane. Can't finish. Horvath knocks it in.
Dick Horvath has played valuable minutes for this team up front in the last 10 games. He's seen his role expand.
Gives the Duke Blue Devils a 6-point edge. Moore at the top. Winner of this one goes to the championship game tomorrow against the winner of our next game. Here's Muhammad inside. Count the basket and the foul. It's going to be on Duhan, I believe. And that is 3 on Duhan. Redick's got 2. Duhan's got 3. Ewan's got 3.
Well, let's take a look at this. And you know, we talked about taking the hard foul, Steve, but guards almost can't take a hard enough foul against Muhammad. He's going to play right through it. The bigs have to step up with body contact right there.
8 points for Ismail Muhammad on the free throw. Duke's lead now cut to 3.
In an era of college basketball when there aren't a lot of bigs out on the floor, we've got a good battle going on inside. Sheldon Williams has shown up to play in this game. A double-double for him. 12 points, 16 rebounds. And Luke Schenscher has played some good minutes for Paul Hewitt out there, taking the hard foul right there. Williams coming in, getting a score right there. And let's look at the head-to-head matchup right here. So far, Sheldon Williams having the advantage, but not to say that Schenscher has not impacted the way that Georgia Tech plays when he's in the game.
Schenscher had limited minutes in the first half, and he'll take some fine time here with 3 fouls. The 16 rebounds by Sheldon Williams, by the way, is 1 shy of a career high.
I really think that Sheldon Williams, you know, he's been remotivated in this tournament, had the great game against Virginia and feels solid here, but really took the challenge with Schenscher, who almost outplayed him in the 2-game series during the regular season.
J.J. Redick's open on the wing. He fires up a 3. Rebound, back down by Will Bynum. Horvath harassing him. It is Duke 45, Georgia Tech 42. Coming up next, NC State and Maryland. Again, in case of 2 teams who split, winning on each other's court. B.J. Elder on the wing. Rises into a jumper that rattles through. Elder with 15, his first bucket of the second half, pulls the Yellow Jackets to within 1.
Remember, was slow to get into the offense in the first half.
Ooh, lazy pass, nearly picked off. Here's Ewing. Ewing up and under. Thought he got fouled. Instead, the shot was blocked out of bounds. It'll be Duke ball. Luol Deng checking back in. Horvath goes out. Good minutes for Nick Horvath. Out of Minnesota, the 5th-year senior. Duhan finds Williams. 5 minutes in. Duhan for 3. Rebound Ishmael Muhammad. Georgia Tech with another chance to take the lead. Brooks in the game. Muhammad down low. Blocking foul on J.J. Redick. That's 4. That's 3. 3 on Redick. 3 on 4.
I was with you. Everybody else lost you, but I was There's the play, and you know, this is smart. If I'm Georgia Tech and whoever Redick is guarding, I'm just going to attack him.
Steal
issue
by Daniel Ewing, and he's fouled by Clarence Moore.
Daniel Ewing is really concerned. He felt Clarence Moore bearing down on him. I think it altered how he approached the dunk.
So Daniel Ewing goes to the free throw line with 14.5 to play. Ewing to the line and misses. ACC basketball is brought to you in part by BMW.
Both teams shooting poorly at the free throw line, an identical 10 of 17.
Daniel Ewing, 26 points yesterday, 2 this afternoon. Brooks comes out. Sensher back into the ball game out for Georgia Tech. Remember, he's playing with 3.
Mike Krzyzewski having a very animated conversation with Mike Wood on the other side while that free throw is going on.
He wanted an intentional foul. Bynum on the wing, Moore for 3. Rebound, tipped by Muhammad, inside Elder to finish.
Always a smart play, Steve. Sorry, if you can't get your hand on the ball, tip it up and keep it alive. Maybe a teammate's in a better position.
Muhammad did just that. Elder responded and ties it at 46. 6 minutes gone in the second half. Ewing for 3. Oh, with Elder in his grill, Ewing's first 3 of the afternoon.
He and Redick just shoot from places that you don't expect them to.
Bynum does the same here, misses. The rebound comes away to Duhan. Duhan into front court. Drives to the basket. Nice scoop by Chris Duhan. He's got 9.
In transition, Sensher was outside, and it left the lane wide open once Duhan was able to get by him in the screen roll.
5 unanswered points for the Blue Devils. They're up 51-46. Elder at the top. Sensher in the lane. Turns. Blocked by Williams. Sheldon Williams wins that battle. Duhan down the lane again. This time it's Deng. Score the basket and the foul on Clarence Moore.
This is where defense really gets you off. With the left hand, always tough for a shot blocker to go with his weak hand, and then it comes down the other end. Luol Deng all game long. Duke has done a nice job of shaping up along the baseline to penetration.
Williams, 97 blocks. He's about to erase Mike Kaminsky from the top.
Take him out. Take him out now.
Deng with a 3-point play, and Duke opens up an 8-point lead. I think that's their biggest of the afternoon. 9 was their biggest. The foul, by the way, is on Muhammad, not Moore. Moore's got the ball out front. Here's Jack. Georgia Tech has to respond to 8 unanswered points. To the corner. Moore shut off nicely there by Deng. 6 on the shot clock. Lewis will have to finish and does. 5 points for Marvin Lewis. Cuts the Duke lead to 6.
Big basket for Georgia Tech, too, and they have found tough sledding in the half court and a lot of contact on that play. Good concentration by Lewis to finish in spite of it.
Luol Deng off to Redick, who drives, drops it off, and Deng will finish. Luol Deng with 16. Blue Devils now back on top by 8. more down the floor, and he is fouled. And the foul's going to be on Dang.
Tech had done a better job in the first half on this, but penetration has come back to help the Blue Devils. And Luol Deng has been living along the baseline. He's going to be taking a few people out to lunch tomorrow, I think, or maybe dinner after whatever activity ensues, whoever comes out and wins this ball game. But, you know, if you're a big guy, Steve, and you keep your hands ready and make yourself a target, good things happen to you for good penetration.
Inside. Ball is almost stolen by Sheldon Williams. You know, Deng joins a group of 5 Duke Blue Devils now with 3 fouls. Reddick, Duhan, Ewing, and Randall.
And that's why, you know, Georgia Tech can't lose their aggressiveness.
Ewing with another steal, turns and quits and gets thrown to the court by Muhammad. And now really the Duke bench screaming for the flagrant foul here.
They're not going to get it.
No, they're not going to get it.
Here's the look again, and Muhammad really has him teed up from right here. And, you know, in the technical sense, you could say he made a play on the ball, made a swipe at it, but just both players again in a very dangerous position in the air.
Muhammad with 3 fouls. Schencher with 3 fouls. And Spike Krzyzewski, he's showing them how to play. He said, what do we got to do to get one of those calls? The play was, of course, Ewing felt the presence of Muhammad, and then what happened was is when he adjusted, Muhammad was in midair. He had to adjust.
Well, and if you're Duke, what you have to do is keep your focus on defensive intensity of the game and make steals instead of trying to get into a physical battle with Georgia Tech.
Ewing gets 2. Biggest lead of the game now. (58-48). Duke in the lead here at the 11:53 mark. Muhammad with the ball, looking for Jarrett Jack. We haven't heard from Jarrett Jack much since he got his bell rung on a fast break a couple of minutes ago. Got a timeout with 11:45 left in the second half.
Welcome back to the Coliseum. We've got a great matchup here between Duke and Georgia Tech, but when you think of great basketball games, none bigger than the '74 title game, an overtime thriller between State and Maryland, and joined by one of the greats of that game, Tommy Burleson. And Tommy, you win that game, you go through so many difficult games in the ACC, go on to the NCAA tournament, end up defeating UCLA to win the national championship. What a great run that year.
We were just really blessed. We had David Thompson, who was our special player, special piece, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Monty Tao, Phil Spence, Tim Stoddard, coming off the bench with Greg Hawkins, Steve Noose, Mark Moeller. Just a great team effort. We stopped that seven straight national championship of Mr. Wood, and of course we only derailed them for 1 year, and they came back and won it the year after that. But Bill and I, we know we have our friendly disagreements, and that game was to give him humility, because Bill thought he was the greatest player ever, and he's not. But he's one of the top 10, I agree with that, and he's probably the greatest center passer of the game. But Lynn Elmore, 6'9", great competitor. Lenny's a Harvard Law School graduate, just a great role model for people and the young people, what they can do.
Okay, thanks so much, Tommy. We'll send it back down courtside, guys.
All right, there's the man.
I think Walton needed some more humility.
It didn't stick. It didn't stick.
He shrugged that off rather quickly.
Tommy Burleson, and Ewing now picks up his 4th foul. In the corner, the shot by Woods, pulled by McHenry, but the dunk won't work. Here comes Reddick in the front court. Back to the top, Chris Duhan. It's a 12-2 Duke scoring run. They're trying to make it stick as we approach the midway point of the second half. Winner here moves on to the championship game tomorrow afternoon. We'll see it on many of these same Raycom Jefferson Pilot sports stations. Inside, pass deflected. It's taken by Horvath. He'll try to finish. Schencher tips the rebound to Jarrett Jack. Georgia Tech trying to get back on their feet again in this one, and the ball walks on the end line by Muhammad. He'll pick it up. Kick out now to Jack. Jack lost the handle, comes back to Schencher. Marvin Lewis with the drive, the ditch to Muhammad for the shot. Rebound tipped out. Horvath gets it, and a foul on Muhammad. That's 4.
Sense a little frustration creeping in for Georgia Tech, Steve. In that possession, they were really out of sync the whole time. Nothing has come easily for them.
And you also have to wonder how that hit on the head has affected Jared Jack, because he really hasn't been that aggressive toward the hoop and yielding shots that he probably would have taken in traffic.
B.J. Elder still the only double-figure scorer for Georgia Tech, and he's only had 4 in this half, so other people have not stepped up.
Changing the foul total now on Muhammad. They say he only has 3. Horvath on the line. He hits the first of a 1-on-1. Closed captioning for ACC basketball provided by RBC Centura. Building a better bank, one customer at a time.
You know, Horvath in there primarily as a banger, defender, rebounder. Any points you get for him are a bonus, and missed that one, but still 3 points on the evening.
Delvin Williams tries to get inside, and he is fouled. Is it Schencher? No, it's McHenry. McHenry picks up his second. Paul Hewitt took a very collective sigh on that one.
In 2 games this year, Steve, there's been a spark for Duke against Georgia Tech. Down in Atlanta, it was a scuffle in the first half with J.J. Redick. They were a team that was ready to be beat that day, but that renewed their enthusiasm for the game. And I think that hard foul on Daniel Ewing has sparked this team as well.
Georgia Tech on its heels. Ewing on the bench with 4 fouls. But before that happened, he scored 6 second-half points. Williams now with 13, make it 14. His 9th double-double of the season. 17 rebounds, ties a career high, and he's tied the Duke all-time block shots mark held by my partner, Mike Kaminsky. 61-48. Duke with their biggest lead of the afternoon. Schencher out front. Georgia Tech in bad need of a basket. McHenry trying to provide that, and he picks up the foul. That's on Horvath.
And if you're Duke, you want to try to funnel the ball to McHenry. Of all the guys who are out on the floor, the one who is not a scorer, 2.7 points per game.
Henry has picked up a little bit. 7 points against Duke on March 3rd. He's averaged 5 points over the last 3, but certainly not the offensive weapon.
But given the option, you don't want Jack to get off.
Right.
You know, you want to try to keep Elder at bay, and you know what Muhammad is. And really, I think Georgia Tech, too, there haven't been a lot of touches for Luke Schencher in the half court, which is surprising because their offense was working well when that was happening.
McHenry has 4. The lead is still in double digits for Duke. Here's Deng in backcourt. Georgia Tech pressing. Being pursued by Jarrett Jack. Deng not afraid to handle the ball. Duhan will get it at the top.
As complete a player as there is out there. I mean, you talk about Julius Hodge and all the things he does. With Luol Deng, there's really not a facet of his game that he's really weak at.
Here's Duhan, top of the floor. Williams on a Deng, flashing across. Duhan floated from the baseline. It's good. Duhan with 11, 63-50. Duke on top. Elder for the wing for 3. As long as he's on the floor, Georgia Tech feels they have an answer. Timeout called by Georgia Tech with 9:35 left to go. B.J. Elder brings it down to 10. Semifinals here in Greensboro. Chris Duhan with a floater on the baseline. That got Duke up by 12, but B.J. Elder had an answer at the other end.
That was a huge bucket by B.J. Elder to respond. You got the sense that Duke was ready to go on one of their patented runs and really salt this one away, but he cuts it from a 13 to a 10-point deficit. Interesting play on that last Duhan basket, Steve. Jarrett Jack was guarding Nick Horvath, knowing that Horvath is a screener in the offense and anticipating a switch, and even with that, Duhan was able to beat him to the baseline, so a lapse defensively there by Jarrett Jack.
Chris Duhan with 11 points, almost doubling his point output against Virginia in the quarterfinals. Jarrett Jack, his point guard nemesis. has struggled somewhat, has 6 points in this game, and has scored 1 basket here in the second half, 2 for 6. But really, we haven't seen him as aggressive as we saw him before. Now the officials are looking at a spot on the floor that's wet, I guess. Mike Wood comes over with a towel to wipe it up. You know, there's nothing like college basketball, and if you're celebrating the win, do it right. The way you celebrate says a lot about you and reflects on your school, so please be responsible. Take care of yourself and your friends. A message from your friends at Anheuser-Busch. 63-53, Duke in the lead. Top-seeded team trying to stay that way and in the tournament. Deng with the lay in, but it's going to be tipped up and in. And it's Sheldon Williams who gets the credit. He's got 18 now. 18 rebounds, 16 points. And in Atlanta, Kentucky moves on to the championship game tomorrow with a 15-point win over South Carolina. Mississippi State's loss to Vanderbilt in overtime last night. It kind of throws the seeding question wide open, and certainly the tournament.
Well, now the gauntlet's been thrown down. Chris Duhon with the floor slap.
Enter inside. We got a whistle and a foul, and it could be Deng. Horvath trying to buy it. And it's going to be Deng's fourth. Fourth personal, so Mike Krzyzewski continuing to walk the tightrope with players with 4 fouls. Daniel Ewing on the bench with 4. Deng still on the court with 4.
Deng has been a catalyst in the half court for Duke in this half, first 10 minutes.
Georgia Tech has missed 8 foul shots in their 20 attempts. Back to the top of the wall, Deng. Guarded by Muhammad. Redick to Duhon. Spencer shows up high on Duhon, leaving Horvath open. Into the paint it goes to Williams. Williams turns, drop step, and a foul beforehand. And I think they're going to point at McHenry. That's going to be his third. Look at the Duke foul trouble here. Ewing and Deng with 4. Randolph, Redick, and Duhon with 3.
Well, I mentioned it about 2 minutes ago that in spite of that, then Tech has got to continue to be aggressive, and rather than settle for jump shots, try to force the issue and get some of those players out of the bench and get to the free throw line, slow the game down a little bit.
Williams misses the free throw. Duhon boards the miss.
And you can't, little things be like, you miss a point on a one-on-one, you can't give up an offensive rebound if you think another 35 seconds.
Duhon on the dribble out to the top. That's the 4th foul on McHenry. Both teams in danger of running out of players. Duhon makes his move. Nice move into Williams for the basket.
Right, I mean, it's just, Georgia Tech was able to compact their defense in the first half. With Redick on the floor now, things have gotten spread out. Georgia Tech has got to chase Duke, and it's opened up things inside.
7th assist for Duhon, 18th point, and there's the banker from Jarrett Jack. Jack with 8 points now, and staying within that 12-point stiff on him. Duhon, top of the floor. Jack guarding him. 7:43 left to go and counting, and time starting to run out a little bit here on Georgia Tech. Down 12. They got to have a stop here. From the corner, Redick for 3. No. Rebound captured underneath. Horvath. Nice recycle, another offensive rebound for Duke.
He's making all the little plays here.
Another possession here with 7:18 left to play. Got a whistle, and looks like it's going to be an official's timeout. Got something going on the sideline here that they got to take care of.
I think they've been concerned with the condensation on the floor.
Well, actually, a banner has fallen off the end of the table and onto the court of play. And Mike Wood is going to take care of that and send us to commercial break. 7:16 left to go. The emotion of the ACC tournament readily evident in the fans and the players on the court. Duke marching toward a 6th. They're up by 12 in the semi.
Food Lion presents the ACC's most valuable players. The winningest player in Wake Forest history, Tim Duncan, led the Deacs to 4 21 seasons, 2 ACC Tournament championships, and 4 NCAA tournaments. Twice the ACC Player of the Year, Duncan was the 1997 National Player of the Year and still holds the ACC record for most block shots in a career. Tim Duncan, ACC MVP. Food Lion, extra low prices, an official corporate partner of the ACC.
Coming up after this game, the number 2 seed NC State and number 6 Maryland go at it. Wolfpack had to come back from behind to beat Florida State. Julius Hodge at 19, and the Pack's opponent Maryland, Terps upsetting Wake Forest behind Travis Garrison 16. Could be quite a game in that second one, and Mike, you mentioned it before, a case of 2 teams who won on each other's home court. And
you know, Maryland did it in Raleigh by jumping out to a lead and not not having to chase that Princeton-style offense around as much. But I think the injuries, the big key issue for NC State without Scooter Sherrill and without Jordan Collins for that game.
We're in Greensboro for the ACC Basketball Championship Tournament, the 51st renewal. Steve Martin here along with Mike Domensky, Bobby Cremens, Mike Hogwood, Scott Brzezwanski. Hope you enjoy the action. Semifinals Saturday from Greensboro. Chris Duhon, top of the floor, 3 on the shot clock, clear open inside. 13 points for Chris Duhon. He's come alive in the second half and extends Duke's lead to 14.
Nothing breaks your heart as a coach. You defend for that stretch, you get the end of the clock, and then you get trumped by a great drive inside.
Marvin Lewis has been quiet today. B.J. Elder, who has not. And he scores again inside. 22 points for B.J. Elder. Cuts the lead to 12. Matching baskets isn't what Georgia Tech needs to do here.
And Tech, for all their defensive intensity in the first half, they've been unable to get stops here in the second.
Foul's going to be on Will Bynum. See Chris Duhon at work again.
Well, first team all ACC, and very good off the drive. The spin move, we talked about his strength, really just got Bynum on his back. Nobody's stepping up the penetration behind him.
Nick Horvath, extended minutes here. He's a big body who can bang, and Mike Glory brings 4 fouls with him. We're going out. Horvath with 4. ACC basketball is brought to you in part by BMW.
Duhon, the ultimate driving machine on that last play, able to get the line.
What a segue, Michael. You are sponsor friendly, aren't you?
Just begging for a beamer here. Drive by that plant every time. 885 going down to Clemson.
Okay, that's enough. Duhon in backcourt. Georgia Tech couldn't find range that time. Here comes Deng. Under 6 to play. It's a 13-point lead. And near foul there by Bynum out front.
Body language does not look good for Georgia Tech right now. They're very frustrated having to chase Duke on the perimeter.
8 on the shot clock now to the post. They go inside. It's Deng, and he gets fouled. And this could be censured.
You know, it's like any situation, Steve. It's like when we talk about playing NC State. When they get a lead and they spread you out, you have to chase them. And that's where Georgia Tech has found themselves in this second half. They're behind. They've got to extend themselves out on the perimeter. It opens things up inside.
Duke 13 of 24 here in the second half. Schencher picks up his 4th. And Deng gets the rebound, and Paul Hewitt with very few options that he can use at this point in time, no matter how deep the bench is. Great minutes for Nick Horvath, and the Duke crowd very appreciative as Dockery replaces him in the lineup. Deng with 1 more.
I'll refer back to that hard foul on Daniel Ewing by Ismail Muhammad as the spark that rekindled the resolve of Duke in this game.
Bynum at the top. Duke had the lead. I think it was by about 5 at the time. They've pushed it since then to where it stands now. 15, the biggest gap of the night between the two. Elder from the elbow for 3. B.J. Elder, 25 points for Elder at 72-60.
Special player. He's made some big shots for this team. Unlimited range.
Here's steal by Elder. Here's Reddick. Duke intent to take it back out, use some clock. and find him now with a foul.
This is what's hard. You know, this is a great play. You get a center out in the screen roll. Sheldon Williams really doesn't want to get out and get a hand on that, so it gives Elder enough room to release the jump shot.
Elder with 25 points in this game. He's the only Georgia Tech player in double figures. John Dockery getting ready to go to the free throw line. Dockery misses the first. Georgia Tech's foul trouble is very real. McHenry and Spencer with 4. Carver and Muhammad with 3. And the Duke Blue Devils not without their trials and tribulations there too. Mike Krzyzewski's had to go much of the second half without Daniel Ewing. Luol Deng with 4. 3 players with 3.
Well, no surprise that Fincher and Carver are in foul trouble as Williams has 18 points and 18 rebounds in this game. Similar, I think they needed a similar effort to counter that from Fincher like he had yesterday, a 17-17 game.
Elder on the wing, takes it into the paint and fires. Duhan on the defense and picks up the rebound. Look at him go with the dribble. Puts it up and off, and he's fouled by Marvin Lewis. Well, this goes back and talks to what Bobby Cremins lined out as one of his keys to the game, and that is establish the inside game. And the Duke Blue Devils have done that this afternoon. They rededicated themselves to it, Mike, the first 4 possessions of the second half.
And, you know, Mike Krzyzewski, Sheldon Williams had a meeting this past week and talking about him and his involvement in the offense. And if the first 2 games of the tournament so far are any indication, Sheldon Williams is going to be a force.
Duhan on the free throw line. Chick-fil-A nugget of the game. This is amazing. There are players on this team that have never lost an ACC tournament game. 16 straight tournament games.
Just, you know, the magnitude of that over 5 years and all the landmines that are out there, the quality of competition, all the things that can happen in a tournament situation in a single elimination event is just an extraordinary number.
Duhan with 15, and that's the margin now that Duke has on Georgia Tech. And time is becoming an issue. Spencer loses the ball inside. And the Blue Devils have it back. And the crowd now starting to sense that the ride to number 6 will have another day. Reddick.
Well, the thing is, you know, through that run, Mike Krzyzewski keeps the focus. Coming into this year, he said, you know, Luol Deng has never won a game. You know, this is a new thing for him.
Right.
So, and this is a new tournament. And that's how every year is approached, rather than in the continuum saying, all right, we've got to win 6 in a row.
Right off back, Spencer's back inside. It goes through Williams' hands and out of bounds. Last touch by Georgia Tech. Got a timeout on the court with 3:58 left to go. Duke by 15.
Atlantic Coast Conference basketball is about history.
The talent level here created the best conference in the history of college basketball.
The drive to excel.
Every single night was just a war. You know, guys go out there and give it their hearts out. So competitive.
Each team was very deep, and they had some great players. And it just made you want to be part of that.
Classic rivalries.
Your friends, sometimes enemies.
It's a love-hate relationship. You know, I love to hate them.
Legendary players and coaches.
You've had the best of the best coach in this league, and you've had the best players come here.
When you have special players, and to see them, you know, compete at such a high level and win, it's just nothing. It's nothing better.
But most of all, ACC basketball is about tradition.
The best basketball conference in America. There's nothing like ACC basketball. Nothing like it.
Atlantic Coast Conference basketball, a tradition of excellence. Then, now, and always.
Chris Duhan has played like a first-team All-ACC performer in this game, setting the tone with his dribble drive action, the leadership qualities, knocking down jump shots from the perimeter, the strength inside, 6 of 8 shooting, leading the challenge defensively for this ball club. The nice little floater along the baseline. Take a look at his numbers. He has been extraordinary. 15 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, Steve Martin, and he has won the point guard battle so far with Jarrett Jack.
Most decisively. 15-point lead. 3 seconds on the shot clock now on the inbounds. Here's Williams. Yes! I'm not sure he knew what he was throwing it at, but he got it in. 20 points for Sheldon Williams to go with 18 rebounds, and the Duke Blue Devils now threatening to ride away with this one. 77-60.
Two key matchups that they had to win, point guard and center, and Duke has captured both of those battles.
Marvin Lewis to Schencher. Takes it in. Slowly walks. Reddick stepped in front of his path. Forced him to take an extra step.
Talk about, see, how about the efficiency of Duke. That was the 10th turnover for Georgia Tech. Only 6 for Duke. They have not turned the ball over in the second half against a very good defensive ball club.
The graphic right there. We got a whistle. Timeout here taken by Duke. 30-second timeout.
30-second timeout for Duke.
See the timeout situation. Our Jeep game summary looks like this. Well, B.J. Elder, the only double-figure scorer for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. But Sheldon Williams has gone to work inside. His 18 rebounds today, a career high, and Duke has overwhelmed the Yellow Jackets in the paint today.
50-27 inside. A lot of those on second chance opportunities. And let's not underscore what Luol Deng has done in this game as well from the baseline with 18 points.
Luol Deng has been outstanding this afternoon. And of course, the last game that he was on, or with Georgia Tech, against Georgia Tech, he went 1 for 14. You said he wouldn't do that today, and he has.
No, he bounced back, and he had a great game down in Tech. At that point, it was a career-high 22 points for him, so he's had some confidence against this ball club. But it changed. Duke got the lead. They got Tech spread out, and they are very tough to defend in that situation.
Neil Ewing back on the floor. J.J. Reddick. Ewing the hero yesterday. Williams and Duhan take that role today.
Now, you know, if you're an opponent for Duke, and it's got to be a little scary that they've won 2 games, this one a little more handily, with J.J. Reddick basically a non-factor offensively in both games.
It's true. It's been 5-6 points today, 5 points yesterday. Ran into early foul trouble, and Mike Krzyzewski had to sit him early in both games.
But I really believe that, you know, for both of these teams, and I really think Georgia Tech can make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. They've got all the components for it. You know, certainly matchups are going to be a key factor for them as Paul Hewitt gets this club ready for the tournament. But Duke, to be successful, and people think they're a Final Four team, Sheldon Williams has got to be a big component of that. And I think they recognize that, and that's why they've made him a focal point of this tournament to get him ready for next week.
Western 78-60. Duke with their biggest lead of the day. Jared Jack with a three-pointer from the wing. Reddick towards the miss. Now, the Yellow Jackets tournament resume is pretty strong. I mean, if you look at the teams that they played this year, they've beaten Connecticut. They've played teams like Texas Tech, an NCAA-bound team in Louisiana Lafayette. Some other Virginia Commonwealth headed to the big dance, of course, and they've had some pretty good wins along the way. They opened at 12-0. They're 11-8 since.
Congratulations to Jeff Capel. VCU played at Duke, coached there. One of the youngest head coaches in America getting to the NCAA tournament.
John Dockery scores, makes it 80-60, and the issue is all but decided here in the first semifinal of the day. Coming up, Maryland and NC State. Williams with a block shot.
There goes the record.
There you go, Mike. Mike Juminski now second place. And didn't have a thing to do about it.
There's the look inside. Nice feed.
And now Sheldon Williams, 98 block. Ooh.
Right, that's just, it's not how, you know, Mike Krzyzewski has built his teams over the years. He's not had a dominant shot blocker in a long time, but Sheldon Williams certainly falls into that category.
Look at you. You don't look any different in second place. Big crocodile tears, though.
Don't put me on camera. I'm misty right now.
He's an emotional tub of goo.
I mean, you got it the rest of the way, partner. I'm done.
Okay. 80-63 as Georgia Tech makes another free throw.
24 years is enough.
Yeah. Pretty good to hold it that long.
Pass the torch. J.J.
Reddick, top of the floor, or the ball was tipped by Jack. He can go into backcourt and get it. Dang out at the top of the floor. And Duke now just taking time off the clock and getting ready for Sunday's game against the winner of our game coming up. NC State and Maryland. Tim Brandt and Mike Kaminsky to take you through that one. We've got a whistle and a foul. Inside, it's going to be on Tarver.
Well, you know, people, you wonder why you play the regular season and what meaning it has. Well, in the tournament, it's all about rest. You come in as the #1 seed. Duke plays at 12 o'clock yesterday. A nice full day of rest, a 1 o'clock game today, and then another full day of rest. So the rewards of winning the regular season championship very tangible in this tournament.
Staying on the free throw line. Of course, it'll be even more tangible next year when the field expands to 11 and the top 4 or 5 teams have a first-round bye. Jack coming out, Bynum coming in.
We hope Jared Jack is okay with that injury. Took a nasty spill, and he's fine for next week.
Yeah. Georgia Tech, as you said, and Billy said it yesterday, I think they're one of those teams that's armed for the long run. And there are several in this tournament, probably all 4 that are still alive now. Here's Moore into the corner. Bynum for 3. Light it up. Bynum, his first three-pointer of this tournament. 81-66.
It'd be interesting somehow if Georgia Tech wound up in a regional with Arizona and have Will Bynum face his old mates.
Many people feel that Arizona is definitely on the bubble. Reddick inside. Duhan sneaks in behind the defense and gets an easy 2. That's 17 for Chris Duhan. Paul Hewitt can only watch now.
Well, in the win at Tech, Duke scored 82 points. In the loss at Durham, 68. So defense was the big key, but their offense has got them going here.
Here's the pass to Ewing from Duhan. 10 points for Daniel Ewing. And a show of emotion out on the floor as the Duke Blue Devils realize that they've got a shot at number 6. They're headed to the championship round.
Here's the look up ahead. They're so quick in transition. You see that showing of emotion at the end of the game. I think that the players and the coaches with Duke are proud of the fact that they took the physical challenge that Georgia Tech presents. They did not take that challenge at home. Tech was the tougher team that day, and they got beaten. They responded here in kind.
So we'll get reserves to finish this one out. 85-68 with Bynum scoring there late. 46 seconds left to go. Ewing out on the floor. We have Patrick Johnson. Malchione. Lee Malchione is out there as well for Duke as Mike Krzyzewski gets his regulars back on the bench, except for Ewing. The final seconds of this will tick away. Dockery inside. And all lost out of bounds. This broadcast is a copyrighted presentation. Any use of it without the express permission of Raycom, Jefferson Pilot Sports, and the Atlantic Coast Conference is prohibited. The Duke fans let out a roar at their end of the Coliseum. They're headed to tomorrow in the championship game once again. McHenry makes the shot. 6 seconds left to go. All lost out on the end line and put in at the last second by Tarver. And a foul to boot. Let's bring in former Georgia Tech coach Bobby Cremins for a comment on the way this is finished up and Georgia Tech season.
Thank you, Steve. Mike, G-Man, I just got to tell you, great teams just find a way to win. Since I've been coaching around the league, the 2 great dynasties have been North Carolina and Duke. And to stop these dynasties, you almost got to play a perfect game. Duke was really in trouble, and they came through.
Played the perfect second half in particular. And as Mike said, since the time of that hard foul on Daniel Ewing by Ishmael Muhammad, Duke took things in hand and took care of business. The top seed advances to the championship round with an 85-71 win over the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, who are going to rest it on Sunday, but they'll live on to play in the NCAA tournament with a pretty good seeding, no doubt. The Duke Blue Devils, well, they have history on their minds as they have a chance to go for an unprecedented 6th ACC championship. Chris Duhan, one of the heroes of the day with 17 points. He took charge in that second half. Penetrating moves there, freed up things for Sheldon Williams. Williams, who pulled off a career-high 18 rebounds, had 20 points on the afternoon as he completes the congratulatory handshakes at midcourt. But a convincing win for the Duke Blue Devils. And Scott Przwanski is standing by, and he's got Chris Duhan.
Chris, you've done it again. You guys are going to be back in the finals. But before we get to that, physically, you seem like you guys made an effort to really match the challenge from what Tech did to you in the last game.
Yeah, they were real physical with us last game, and we didn't fight them. Today, we wanted to be strong, fight them, and not give them any edge. And our guys did a great job of that. Sheldon was a man all night for us, and we just fed off of his physical strength.
Yeah, talk a little bit about Sheldon, because you guys have made a real conscious effort here of late to make sure he touches the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's working his butt off inside, and we have to reward him from that. And he's doing a great job of finishing and giving us that great inside presence that we need. We're doing all this with JJ not shooting the ball well, but other guys are stepping up, and hopefully we have a run to make it 6 straight.
Yeah, okay, you were very emotional today. I know you want to go celebrate with your guys in the locker room, so we'll let you do that, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Okay, that's Chris Duhan, guys. He had an outstanding game, and we'll send it over to you, Steve.
All right, thanks, Scott. Let's take a look at our Pepsi players of the game. B.J. Elder, only player, well, actually 2 players in double figures for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Elder, one of them, with 25 points, 4 of 6 from behind the arc. And Sheldon Williams, 20 points, a career-high 18 rebounds, and he is standing by with our Scott Przwanski.
Sheldon, another great game. You guys have made a conscious effort to get the ball into you, and I know you're taking heart in the team wanting you to be the man.
Yes, we know if we go inside, outside, we'll play well together. And our first play in the game, we went inside the loop, got our first basket, and we saw ourselves doing that. We thought we were going to have a good night.
Yeah, the guys are coming on the floor, getting ready to warm up. One more quick question for you. You broke Mike Jaminski's all-time block record. He's a fellow Duke guy, our broadcast partner. Anything to say to him?
Well, I know he's a great shot blocking. I'm glad I beat it, I guess.
Put you on the spot there. Best of luck, and we'll look for to see you in the finals, okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay, that's Sheldon Williams. Steve, back over to you.
All right, thanks, Scott. And that's how it looks. Our first semifinal is done, and the Duke Blue Devils advanced. They took all of the contact today and came through a winner. Chris Duhan powering the Duke Blue Devils to an 85-71 win over Georgia Tech. Another semifinal to come, and Mike Hogwood to take it to you when we come back to Greensboro.